Hello everybody, Mark here, and today I'm going to be having pasta with a jar of Dolmio sauce. Now, what I'm going to do is I've been browning off the meat before I turn the camera on, and this is a bag of pasta which I've got left over from the Farm Foods challenge. Right, I've got two, this and one other left over, because like with each challenge, you know, you have some foods that you wasn't able to do anything with. Okay, so anyways, all right, so what I've done before I've turned the camera on, all I did was basically fry the meat, you know, and that involves just putting the meat in the frying pan, the minced meat, with some vegetable oil, and basically just fry it. Okay, you turn it from pink to a darkish brown. All right, whatever, you don't want any pink left over. Okay, and when you've got it good and brown, then you can put the pasta, which I've just done, into the boiling water. Okay, and the thing is with the pasta, when the water's boiling, you put the pasta in, then it immediately stops it from boiling, and then you've got to wait until it comes up, so it heats up again, which it's doing now. Okay, it's coming back to the boil, and when it comes back to the boil, then you turn it down into a medium heat and let it simmer for about sort of 12 to 15 minutes, depending on what type of pasta you're using. You know, shells, little twirls, like the corkscrew shaped ones that I'm using here, or the tubes, or the long stringy ones. It all takes different amount of time, but approximately 12 to 15 minutes. Okay, let me see here. The pasta's coming to the boil. I'm going to turn that down to about 8 and let that just simmer away. Because you don't want to sort of boil the hell out of the pasta, you just let it simmer, that's all. Okay, that'll take about a quarter of an hour. Now what I've done here is, as you've seen me do this before on other pasta dishes, you take the pink mince, you fry it with a bit of vegetable oil till it's all nice and brown. Then you tip the pan, and then you get a spoon, you spoon out the excess oil, because there's fat coming from the meat as well. You pull that out, put it into your little fat container. There you are. Okay, now this pasta is on out of 12, this pasta's on an 8, so I'm going to turn it up to about 8.5, just to let it simmer away. What I'm going to do, I'm going to have that in there for about, actually it's been in there for about 2-3 minutes. Now all I need, so that's the thing, it's all about timing. You don't want the pasta to be, you've got to get the pasta done by the time the meat and the sauce is done. The meat and the sauce, you can turn the heat down a little bit. Let's see. Now this mince, I'm going to turn down to about 7. I'm going to put the sauce in here. Woo! The sauce is kind of thin. I almost lost it then. Okay, I'll show you the sauce in a sec. Oh. Okay, what it is, the sauce is Dolmio's sauce for meatballs, it says. Tomato and basil. I wouldn't normally buy this, but this was on special. It's in the co-op, they're doing them for like, they're doing them for £1. And it's only 25p more than the actual co-op brand. So I thought, you know, I'd go for a different flavour. It's only 25p. So I thought I'd go for a different flavour and whatnot. See what it's like. Okay, now this sauce, yeah, it's a little bit thinner than I expected. So when I poured it into the frying pan, I nearly lost it. Nearly spilt over. Okay, anyway, so you've got to keep on stirring every few minutes. Stir the pasta, otherwise it'll stick to the bottom of the pan. I'm going to turn the mince and the sauce down to 6, so that's 6 out of 12. Because the meat is already cooked, so you don't want to cook that anymore. All you're doing is heating the meat through and heating the pasta sauce through. So you just want it on a light simmer. Yeah, so pretty much you lightly simmer the meat and the sauce for as long as it takes for the pasta to cook, which should take about 12 minutes or so. Okay, so that's bubbling away. What I've done here is I've thrown together the prices in case what is the mince actually. The mince was $2.99. I picked it up for $1.94, so that's well, that's £1 off, £1 and a couple of pence. So I got it for $1.94, and what I've done is I've had it in the freezer for a while, and what I've done, I've used half. So $1.94 for that mince, and I'm using half. So half of $1.94 is 97 pence. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm keeping an eye on this sauce, making sure it's because it'll start bubbling. Just keep it all mixed around. If it starts to get too thick, then we'll add some water to it. Okay. Let me see. I might turn the pasta up just a touch, about half a degree. Anyway, okay. So that mince was on special. So I used half the pack of mince, which turned out to be 97 pence. The sauce was on special as well. Dolmio from the co-op. They're doing them for £1. They're doing other types as well. They're doing like a strong garlic one as well. They're doing a few different ones. But like I say, it's only 25p more than the co-op shop brand, and I've had that a bunch of times. So I thought, what the hell, sod the expense. I'll pay the extra and try a different flavour. Okay, so and also the pasta. The pasta was left over from the farm foods deal, and I think it was 20 pence. I think it's £1 a kilo, and I think I got 200 grams in each of the sandwich bags. So 200 grams, and if that's times 5 bags, that makes a kilo. So that's approximately 20 pence. Now, if that's the case, then today's dinner is going to cost £2.17p, which is pretty good, considering that you've got a fair-sized chunk of mince. Admittedly, it was on special, so if that wasn't on special, it would have cost an extra £1. So you figure half of that for what I'm doing. So if it wasn't on special, you could add another 50p to that. But if you're patient enough, you can always go in there and actually today they had a few packs of mince. I was in the co-op, and they were reduced, not by a lot, but considering that the date is up today. But I would have snapped them up. But I'm desperately trying to empty some space. The next few days is going to be using up the ingredients. I've got some more mince. I've got some chicken thighs. I've got some pork, some beef steak chunks. I use the other half. I got half a pack of that actually. It's in the freezer. The pork, the beef chunks. The other half I used on the pies. Like a few weeks ago, I made some homemade beef and vegetable pies. You know, with sort of pie crust I got from a co-op. Put them in those dishes that I got, those pie dishes I got in the cupboard. Put them in there. Mince. Chunks of steak, put some veg in there, some other stuff. Anyway, Mark's Remarks homemade pie. Have a look at that. I did a Christmas pie, did a whole bunch of pies, and a beef steak pie. So that's what I did with that. So I've got that in the freezer. Yeah, chicken thighs. Oh, some pork chops. Half of this mince, I've got some chicken, I've got some coujons, I've got some more pork chops. Got pork chops all over the place. So I'm going to be trying the next few days. I'm going to be trying to use up those ingredients, and maybe on a few of the dishes make something that you haven't seen me do before. Who knows? But the main objective, what I've got to do is just get some space in there. You know what I mean? Because when I'm doing the challenges, I'm only using ingredients from the challenge, the £25 that I bought. I'm not using stuff that I've got in the freezer, so it just sits there for like close to 2. I mean, the farm foods I did 9 meals. The Asda I did 12, but I had a couple of days in between where I was ill for a day or so. There was other days where I really needed a break from the challenge, and some of them I ate out while I was out, so I wasn't So anyway, but there was like 12 dinners there. So while I'm doing that, I'm not using stuff in the freezer, so it just builds up and it starts taking up space, and then I've got no room to put. And next time the challenge comes along, and I've got some frozen stuff, I've got nowhere to put it. So, long story short, that's why I'm trying to utilise all the ingredients that I've got in there. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, actually, those chicken. I've got some pork chops in there. I bought this from a co-op the other day. It's £1. This is pulled pork barbecue rub. It's basically a bunch of powder in there. They got chicken rub as well. So I could use some of that on some of the pork chops. It's actually pork rub, but I'll put some of that on chicken. I don't care. So I'll put that on sausages. Yeah, it's all good. It doesn't matter. So yeah, so I'll be looking into that, and I'll let you know what that tastes like. Good or bad. It'll admittedly it could be better than £1. I mean, it's just powder. That's all it is. But yeah, what I'm thinking of buying out one of those racks. Because I've seen people on some of the channels that I subscribe to that they have racks of spices and stuff. I don't usually go for the spicy food, but I'm starting to get into it a little bit. And I figure, I won't be buying it. I'm in a co-op there, like £1.75 for a little jar of seasoning. Well, actually, there you go. I bought this from Asda. I can't remember how much it was. I don't know what it was, £1 or something. But the co-op doing them for £1.75, so I've got to find some, something that'll hold these. I'll buy a bunch of them if I've got somewhere to put them. I would imagine spices will probably last ages anyway. So I just buy a spice now and then, build up the collection, and just sort of like. Build a collection, and then I've got something to jazz up some pork chops and stuff. Okay, I'm going to turn this meat up slightly. Yeah, this meat is starting to thicken up a little bit, this meat and sauce. Now that pasta is done. Yeah, the trick is with a pasta, let's see. If you cook it too long, it turns to sludge, you know. But yeah, there you go. You just pour it in the colander, let it drain, and just give it a shake. You can see that. Give it a shake up and down. Let all the water drain away. Okay, that's pretty much that. Okay. Turn that off. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour the pasta straight into the frying pan and give this a mix. You can either do this or, you know, basically pour it into the pasta bowl. Doesn't really matter. Whatever's easier. Just put your spatula in. Can you see that? Put your spatula in and just turn it over. You know, you don't have to mix it or nothing. Just get a big scoop and just turn it over. Yeah, I mean, a few moments ago, you know, earlier this evening, I did a talk about a little bit about when I was training, bodybuilding, and you know the things I used to eat. And this, it's funny because although even though I haven't sort of done that for a lot of years, you know, sometimes without thinking, you know, but it's like, you know, when they talk about your eyes bigger than your belly. You know, sometimes I'll end up, you know, buying food or getting a bowl of food, which is way more than I need. But in my head, I'm sort of like in weight training mode, you know, because I did it for so long. It's not like it's a real hard habit, even after all these years. I mean, this is plenty. I mean, this will do me now, but this would be one of sort of 6 meals. You know, I'd eat this possibly in the evening. You know, sometimes I would eat sort of half that. If anyway, I don't want to talk about training, you know, but you know. This is actually, yeah, the sauce is actually quite good. Very, very tomatoey. Yeah, it's actually, there you go, that's the jar. Let me see. 100% natural ingredients. Can't actually find the ingredients. Ah, here we go. Tomatoes, 72%. Tomato paste, 15%. That makes 80, 90, that makes 92, 70, 80. That makes 92. Onions, lemon juice, sugar, salt, basil, 0.4. It's got garlic, it's got parsley, it's got herbs, it's got spices. Made in the EU. So you could take your pick of 30 countries for the EU, but somewhere in the EU is made, which really doesn't, you know, I don't know why they put that on there because it's confusing. I mean, there's 30 countries in there, so where is it, you know? Anyway, don't get me started on that again. Anyway, but no, the pasta. The pasta was done just about right. It looked like the next couple of minutes and it would have turned to sludge. You know, because if you overdo it, it just, you know, it'll go real mushy. Yeah, the mince is very good. You really got to make, just fry it until all the pink's gone. Simple as that. But the saucing, pretty much any sauce will do, you know. There's not a whole hell of a lot of difference, right, as far as I can tell. Personally, I like the shop brands, you know, as long as they've got some flavour in it, you know. But there'll be some slight difference in the ingredients, normally in regards to the amount of tomatoes versus paste. But yeah, I mean, cost wise, being that that was on £1, because they're on a big sale drive, you know, big sales push on the Dolmio, they're reducing them down to £1. So you know, at that price, you know, why not experiment with a different brand? Yeah, all in all, very good. Full of carbohydrates. So if you are training at any level really, and you're looking to you know, gain, you know, basically it's a carbohydrate, so it's energy food. Yeah, if you're doing any activity or strenuous job, this is what you need. Anyway, there you have it. Today's pasta with Dolmio sauce. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.